Welcome to Flashpoint Friday, a weekly series where I select one game at random from Flashpoint's archives and give it a try. And maybe, just maybe, the game might actually be good. Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Flashpoint Friday, and this week we have a title from Mixie Games. And I gotta say, this is kind of a strange splash screen to be greeted with, because first off we have this M&M character lounging on the Mixie Games logo, and that's on account of, because I checked out the website, it is still up. This appears to be one of those shadier, shall we say, online game websites where for many of their games it seems like they have shamelessly cribbed characters from various popular IPs, presumably without getting the IP holder's permission first. So there's that. But I also want to direct the viewer's attention to the rather weird background imagery here. Like, it's full of like religious and spiritual sounding phrases. Like it says, "My soul thirsts for God" here, and "Praise him, sun and moon" here. It's just a really, really weird choice, regardless of what your religious beliefs might be. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this. So they do give us a wide selection of languages, so there is that going for it. We'll go with English for the purposes of this. And the title doesn't appear to be showing here, but I know from Flashpoint's listing that it's called Gumball Volleyball. And as you can probably ascertain, it's presumably a volleyball game featuring the likeness of characters from the show The Amazing World of Gumball. So somehow I doubt this is gonna capture that show's madcap, zany feel, but I could be wrong about that. Let's just check out the controls first. So there's left player and right player. Well, if you're playing single player, presumably right player is for two-player mode. But if it's just me, I'm probably using the left player controls, ADW. So let's jump right in, start the single player, and yeah, sure, let's just jump into the World Cup. Okay, wow, look at this. There's a whole bunch of different countries you can pick, I guess, with this, all grouped in various different groupings here, and they appear to have different stats depending on the country that you pick, so that might be a bone of contention depending on where you live. Wow, look at Brazil here. They're all maxed out. So yeah, this could definitely be a possible bone of contention depending on where you live. Your home country may not have good stats depending on where you live, and yeah, look at this. Look at what they've done here. It looks like they just stuck Gumball's head onto a human soccer player. Yeah, this does not instill confidence in me at all, but let's just go with Sweden, just for the heck of it. And yeah, this is a tournament, all right. They've got all the brackets here. Let's go ahead and continue. We're going up against Paraguay first, so let's go ahead and start in. All right, yep. Controls. There's a very generic sounding ukulele piece playing in the background, and there appears to be no sound effects, no voice, no voiceover work either. Yeah, and as for the game itself, it seems like a pretty basic take on volleyball. Looks like the AI runs off of a pretty simplistic routine where as soon as the ball passes over to its side of the net, it just tries its best to stay underneath, and it'll do a short hop to try to bump it over, but that's the extent of its complexity. So it looks like if you know what you're doing, you could probably take advantage of that, and like if you hit it really hard over the net so fast that the computer player can't keep up. Having said that, though, I'm making a terrible job of it here for this first round, but let's see. And it's also worth noting that the ball bounces off the edge of the screen, so there is no hitting out of bounds, I guess, with this, which could be a double-edged sword, because while you can't hit it out of bounds, neither can the computer player. So, well, we're getting quite the rally going here. There we go. So it's 7-4 in my favor by the looks of things, and that was halftime. So we're halfway done with this. But yeah, I'm really not impressed with this, and I think we've already seen the extent of this game's features. It's definitely not an official Gumball game, I'll tell you that much. And which is kind of a shame, because I feel like you could probably make a pretty fun official Gumball Volleyball game. Like, hypothetically, if this were an official Gumball Volleyball game, maybe, you know, published by Cartoon Network, the full 9 yards and what have you, you could probably do a lot with this. First off, they would have more playable characters to pick from, rather than just Gumball clones or just Gumball heads stuck onto human athlete character models. I would think at the very least they would have had Darwin as well, and other members of the Gumball family, Annalise, Richard, Nicole, those sorts of things, and possibly too various characters from Gumball and Darwin's school and whatnot. But they would have also, I'm sure, probably would have had like voice acting, whether it was whether it was sampled from episodes of the show, or possibly even voiced for the sole purposes of the game itself. And also too, it would have probably leaned more into the, frankly, insane vibes of the show, maybe taken a leaf out of the Super Mario sports series of titles, like, you know, Mario Strikers and Mario Power Tennis and the like, and introduce all sorts of different gameplay modes with power-ups and like special ultimate moves that you could unleash once you've reached a certain threshold that just absolutely decimates your opponent, things like that. But as it stands right now, this is a pretty darn lackluster game. So I won that round, actually. Just goes to show how closely I was paying attention. But I could continue on, but I think I'll just go back to the main menu, because I think I've seen all this has to offer. So that's Gumball Volleyball, and it's pretty much exactly what I expected. A pretty lackluster, transparent cash-in attempt with minimal effort to try to capitalize on the show's success. And I would imagine this aired when The Amazing World of Gumball was at its peak popularity. So, yeah. I do know, though, that there is that reboot now. It's like what's called like the Wonderfully Weird World of Gumball now, or it's essentially a continuation of the series. So I wouldn't be surprised if these sites release more games like this using the Gumball IP. But honestly, I can't recommend this, whether you're a Gumball fan, a fan of volleyball games, or both. It's pretty low effort all around. I'm sure if you went digging in Flashpoint for volleyball, or possibly even Gumball games, I don't know how many Gumball games are in Flashpoint, or if there are any official Gumball games on Flashpoint, but if there are, they're probably a lot better than this. So you're probably better off just skipping this regardless. So thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Flashpoint Friday, and take care, everyone.